Good day, everyone. In this video discussion, we will learn about types of review, and all about reviews. But before we will start, I will first introduce to you my co-reporter. So first, we have Chana Lopez, Joshua Caleza, Grace Shella Barrete, Grizel Grace Barrete, Karen Escosa, Via Amor Imunaga, Andrahina Hidor, Aljuli Cosit, and yours truly, Rena Mailanyala.
Review is an examination, report, survey, or evaluation. Review are the short descriptions of films, plays, concerts, and programs, etc., which are written to inform readers or viewers about the event, giving also an opinion and recommendation about. A review is a survey over a whole subject or a division of it, or especially an article making a critical reconsideration and summary of something written. It also implies a somewhat less formal approach than criticism referring to literary works. For example, when other people vouch for your goods or products or services, when someone else says it's a great, so it simply put customers want, which is proof that a particular product or services is good.
Why we write reviews? Reviews are a staple of journalism. So they are short descriptions where we express our opinions and recommendations about books and films that we have read or watched. Almost anything can be reviewed: music, films, products, and more. So we write reviews for the purpose of offering honest critics and to make a recommendation to your readers. An introduction is a beginning section which states the purpose and goals of the following writing. Also, an introduction explains the topic and prepare the reader for the rest of the work, because it's responsible for both readers' first impression and setting the stage for the rest of the work. The introduction paragraph is arguably the most important paragraph in the reviews.
Another part of writing review is the main body. It consists of two paragraphs, one that contains main points of the plot in chronological order and the other with comments on the plot, and it could be a positive or negative aspects. In the main body, it is the center of your work. This is where you will present, analyze, evaluate, and synthesize the existing research.
What is conclusion? In conclusion, it is not you simply summing up your points from the review, but instead it is a place when you get to have your final says on the issues in your review. It shows the importance of your ideas and the value of your complete developed argument by the reader. A conclusion is not a place for you to bring in the new idea that you haven't already mentioned in the main part of your review. How to write conclusion in review. Step 1. Presenting the last word of the issues you raise in your review paper. Step 2. Summarizing your thoughts and conveying the longer implication of your review paper. Step 3. Demonstrating the importance of your ideas. Step 4. Introducing possible news or expand ways of thinking about the review problem.
So these are the types of review. First, we have the book review, music review, both review, movie review, and peer review.
So what is a book review? A book review is a form of literary criticism in which a book is merely described or analyzed based on content, style, and merit. A book review may be a primary source, opinion piece, summary review, or a scholarly review.
A review is written to leave an impression. So these are the categories or parts to review a music. The categories are usually the lyrics, for example, whether it was meaningful or not. So the next one is vocals, the instrumentation, quality of performance, general impression of the album or song, and its originality. The purpose is that how musicians can improve the quality of their work themselves, and how consumers can demand a better quality product from their favorite artists.
Food review, known as product review. It is the opinion or feedback of customer for a practical product. To enable customer to rate or review the product they purchase, many online firms have review section on their websites. Before making a purchase, other consumers have an accurate understanding of a product from reviews. How to write a both review or a product review. The process of creating a review is generally the same, regardless of the change in the objective, author, and audience of the product review. To write an effective product review, follow these specific guidelines. Step 1. Introduce the product or service. Step 2. Emphasize your readers. Step 3. Identify your target audience. Step 4. Explain benefits and features. Step 5. Include additional social proof. Step 6. Summarize your review. And the last, step 7. Publish your review.
In writing movie reviews, you have to discuss the film briefly, analyze the film in general and in certain aspects, show your opinion, give recommendation, and entertain readers.
Peer review, the process in which scientists assess the work of their colleagues that has been submitted for publication in the scientist literature is called peer review. Peer review also serves as a means of academic work validation, aids in raising the caliber of published research, and broadens networking opportunities within research communities. Peer review has endured successfully with only a few minor alterations despite being criticized, and is still the sole which acknowledged approach for study validation. Also, the evaluation by fellow specialists of research that someone has done in order to assess it's suitable for a publication or further development.
So these are the techniques of writing review. First, you have know your subject, know your audience. Do not be afraid to have a strong opinion. Avoid I and in my opinion. Give a background. Do not spoil the ending.
Know your subject. Knowing the subject is the best technique to write the review because it's necessary that you have sufficient information about the subject you have chosen. Otherwise, the whole purpose of writing is lost. The first step when planning a reviewing is picking a good topic and a good subject. Choose a subject that you are interested in. The more you like your subject, the more easier it will be to review.
Know your audience. To write the perfect review, you should know about your audience so that you can write the review according to the likes and dislikes of the audience. So one of the most important aspects of writing a reviews is to know who will reading your text or work. That is your intended or likely audience. So in other words, we need to know who we are aiming to reach with our writing. This might be an individual or groups you want to attract with your review in as much detail as possible. Hence, knowing your audience is important because it helps to figure out what content and messages people care about and tells you the appropriate tone and voice for your messages and reviews.
Do not be afraid to have a strong opinion. While writing a review, do not be afraid of writing your strong opinion because there is nothing boring than a review that does not have a strong opinion. So you have to state it boldly. Like for example, you are writing a review and you want to write there that the book is too boring, not interesting. So that is how you will write a unique review. So do not be afraid to have a strong opinion.
To avoid I and in my opinion. So to write a review, avoid phrases like I and in my opinion because such phrases are unnecessary. As your reader understand that you are the one writing the reviews. They already know that you are the author of such reviews. Give background. If you want your reader to completely understand the review, you should give them ideas or clause to a specific review so that they can come up with the ideas on what's going on your review.
Do not spoil ending. Do not spoil the ending of your video because there is nothing the reader hates more than the spoiled ending. A spoiler is an element of a disseminated summary or description of any narrative that reveals plot elements. Writing reviews gives reader some of idea of the plot, but be careful not to include any spoilers. We should remember the point of good review, and that is to get people interested in going to the movie. Don't get overexcited and ruin it for them. Just restate the overall opinion, present a recommendation, and if necessary, some further qualification or explanation of your judgment can be included.
So the importance of review is a review gives the reader a concise summary of a content. Second is more importantly, a review offers a critical assessment of a content. This involves your reactions to the work under the review. It should explain also to your readers what knowledge and ideas we have been established on the topic. Also to clarify the state of knowledge and explain apparent contradictions.
So the next part of the report is that I am giving an example of the reviews. So we picked two of the example of the reviews, which is the music review and the movie review. So the first is a music review. So the AM Stay Up All Night on Ignite the Sky by Allison Kenny. So as we can see here in the PowerPoint, the author gives a little information about what is she going to review. So the next slide is, so this is Allison Kenny, and this is the her background. And the next slide is the introduction of her review. So here, as we can see, the author or the reviewer gives introduces the character of the review. So in the main body, we know that it includes the main points of the plot. So here, the author introduces the character and she explains what happens to the bands during the pandemic, of how hard it is. And as a reviewer, we know that we can add and we can comment positive or negative, but remember to not spoil the ending, okay? Because we know that when we are reviewing, we don't really necessarily need to spoil the ending because the viewers or the readers might not like it. So next is a conclusion. So here in conclusion is the author tells the inside of the character, of the main character, of how she was happy that although their band was not really that successful, but she was happy, the main character was happy that somehow they made music together, and that until now they cherish all the memories that they have. So it's the movie review. And the title of this one is Titanic, and I think we all are familiar with this one. So this is reviewed by Roger Ebert in December 19, 1997. So here in the introduction, he tells there of the beginning of the story and how the ship was made and how is it going. So as yes, we can read here of what the price of the ship and everything. So in the next slide is the main body. So here in the main body, the author explains the price of the Titanic, the characters, the climax of how the story began. Next slide is the conclusion. So here, Roger Ebert conclude of what happened to the story, and then he gives a little opinion, which is right because in reviewing we can give our opinion. So like Roger Ebert, he tells there that movies like this are not merely difficult to make at all, but almost impossible to make well. The technical difficulties are so daunting that it's a wonder when the filmmaker are also able to bring the drama and history into proportion. So I found myself convinced by both wonderfully written as passengers are forced to make impossible choices. And even the villain played by Zayn reveals a human element at a crucial moment. So despite everything, done it all, he does love the girl. So in this um in this line, we know that Roger Ebert is enjoying the review because we know that Titanic is a very interesting and amazing movie. So he gives a little opinion, and I think it's important also. So in this slide, this is Roger Ebert. So Roger Ebert was in the film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times from 1967 until his death in 2013. So in the 1975, he won the Pulitzer Prize for a distinguished criticism. So Roger Ebert is a very good movie critic, and I think he enjoys all the review that he had, and that I think it is the most important of all that you're enjoying your review and not thinking it as difficult. So that's all. Thank you.